Hey everyone, after the embarrassment of losing 2-0 and the shame of not even making it to the group stage, here are today's top news stories. Worse than Lawrence, Clement must drop the 4-10 Rangers man after UCL no-show. It wasn't even a free kick. Rangers captain bemoans costly red card. Rangers to open transfer talks with WSG Tirol over seven-figure Mohamedou Diarra signing. Rangers' stance on Cyril Désir's exit shared as ridiculous transfer offer mooted. Before I spill the beans, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around until the end so you don't miss any of the nitty-gritty details. So it's official. Rangers won't be gracing the group stages of the Champions League this season after a disappointing 2-0 defeat to Dynamo Kyiv. Those two goals, coming within the space of a minute in the 82nd and 83rd, sealed our fate, leaving us with a 3-1 aggregate loss after that 1-1 draw in the first leg. Now it's off to the Europa League, and back to domestic duties with a League Cup clash against St. Johnstone at the weekend. Philippe Clement has some tough decisions to make after that poor showing in Europe, and one player who should definitely be dropped from the starting in is Ross McCausland. Let's talk about McCausland's struggles on Tuesday. The Northern Irishman was surprisingly picked to start on the right flank, with Cyril Désir leading the line, Tom Lawrence in the number 10 role, and Jefty on the left. But let's be honest, McCausland didn't do himself any favors. He'd already been ineffective in the first leg, with 0 goals and 0 assists, and was dropped for the Premiership win over Motherwell. Given another chance, he managed to perform even worse than Lawrence, who wasn't exactly on fire either. The Scottish Sun's Derek McGregor gave Lawrence a 5-10 rating, noting his decent ball into the box before he faded later on. Clement kept Lawrence on until the 85th minute, suggesting he was relatively pleased with his performance. But McCausland? He was yanked off at halftime after a pretty dire first half, earning himself a dismal 4-10 rating. Clearly, Clement agreed that it was an underwhelming display. So what's next? Clement needs to be ruthless here. McCausland hasn't delivered in any of his 3 outings as a winger, so it's time to drop him from the starting econ. Instead, the former Monaco boss should bring Wolfsburg loanee Václav Černý back into the side. Černy's got the quality we need in the final third, and he's already made a strong start to life in the Premiership this season. Let's not forget that Černý provided that beautiful assist for Désir in the first leg against Dynamo Kyiv with a fantastic in-swinging cross. So, it was a bit of a shock to see him left out of the starting lineup at Hampden Park. With McCausland's struggles on Tuesday night and his performance even worse than Lawrence's, it's clear he should be sidelined to make way for Černý. It's time to get the right players on the pitch and start turning things around. James Tavernier isn't holding back on what he feels was a major injustice during Rangers' Champions League exit against Dynamo Kyiv. The skipper believes that Jefty's red card was a turning point in the match, and he's pointing the finger squarely at referee Marco Guida for what he sees as a huge mistake. After last week's 1-1 draw in Poland, Rangers returned to Hampden for the second leg, with a place in the playoff round against Red Bull Salzburg on the line. The stakes were high, and Rangers started off strong, creating several chances in the first half. But everything changed after the break. Jefty, one of the summer signings, was controversially shown a second yellow card, reducing Rangers to 10 men. With the numerical advantage, Kyiv pounced, scoring twice and shattering Rangers' Champions League dreams. Tavernier is adamant that the sending off was completely unjustified. He explains that Jefty simply rose early to meet a high ball, out-muscling Oleksandr Karavayev. The referee, however, saw it differently, thinking Jefty had elbowed his opponent. Tavernier wasn't having any of it. He gets up really early, the captain said. I thought it wasn't even a free kick. There was no malice in what he was doing, just trying to win the ball. The fact that it was a yellow card decision meant VAR couldn't step in, leaving Rangers to deal with the fallout. It's a 50-50 ball that's going up in the air, Tavernier added. I don't know how much contact there is, but it obviously makes a big difference. According to Tav, that one decision shifted the entire dynamic of the game. Even with 10 men, Rangers pushed hard. But the extra man made all the difference as Kyiv took advantage of the gaps left in defense. It's one decision in the game that brings us down to 10 men and makes it harder for ourselves, he said. We thought we had a good chance to get to the next round. Despite the disappointment, Tavernier was quick to highlight that the team fought hard, particularly in the first half. "We created opportunities but could have been more clinical," he admitted. "We always try to leave everything out there, and it's just disappointing that we couldn't make it happen." Now, with Champions League hopes dashed, Rangers will drop into the Europa League group stage. But there's no time to dwell on the defeat. The focus now shifts to the Premier Sports Cup tie against St. Johnstone on Saturday. "We have to brush it off really quickly," Tavernier said. "There's no time to moan. We'll look at the lessons we can take from it and go again." Rangers are reportedly eyeing up a move for Mali international striker Mahamadou Diarra, a young talent who has made quite a splash since swapping Africa for Europe just 12 months ago. The 20-year-old kicked off his career with Stade Malien back in his home country before making the leap to Austrian top-flight club WSG Tirol last summer. Since then, he's been turning heads across Europe, netting 4 goals and providing 2 assists in 22 appearances. According to Africa Foot, Rangers have been in touch with Diarra's representatives, and the Rangers club might be ready to fork out up to £1.7 million to bring him to Glasgow. The young striker has already earned 2 caps at the under-23 level for Mali and played a crucial role in helping Tirol avoid relegation last season, despite their stadium being deemed too small for top-flight matches, forcing them to play in Innsbruck's Tivoli Stadium. Philippe Clement is still on the hunt for reinforcements as the transfer window edges closer to closing, and Diarra could be the next name on his list. The 20-year-old is set to feature in a pre-season friendly against Bayern Munich tonight, which might just give Rangers officials an even closer look at what he can bring to the table. But that's not all on the transfer front. Another name that's been floating around Rangers is Orlando Pirates' rising star, Relebohile Mofokeng. The 19-year-old South African winger has been linked with a move to Europe, with several clubs keeping tabs on his progress. However, in a recent interview with GQ, Mofokeng made it clear that he's focused on his development for now. "I'm grateful for every opportunity I've been given," he said, "but this is just the beginning. I'm focused on pushing myself further and to achieve even greater things." With Clement keen to bolster his squad before the window shuts, it'll be interesting to see if either of these young talents make their way to Rangers. Marc Guidi has weighed in on the ongoing speculation about Cyril Desires potentially leaving Rangers before the transfer window slams shut, and his advice is crystal clear. Don't sell him unless someone comes in with ridiculous money. Throughout the summer, there's been plenty of chatter about Desires possibly moving away from Glasgow, with Cagliari reportedly eyeing a last-minute swoop for the striker. But while some pundits have suggested that Rangers should cash in on the Nigerian forward, Guidi, a football writer for the Sunday Mail, thinks that selling him for a fee around £3.5 million doesn't make financial sense for the Light Blues. Speaking on the Go Radio football show, Guidi said, "Kill any talk of Desires leaving the club unless it's ridiculous money. For me, selling Desires for $3.5 million doesn't make sense. You've got to keep him now, and what you've got to do is actually supplement that position. Bring in help for him as well, but keep Desires. Absolutely keep him." Now, Philippe Clement has made it clear earlier this summer that no Rangers player is untouchable, except for Jack Butland, which suggests that Desires could be sold if the price is right. But as Guidi points out, selling Desires at this stage of the window would be a risky move, especially when he's the only striker who's fit and available to start every week right now. If Desires were to leave Glasgow, Rangers would need to find a replacement, and as they've learned this summer, finding a 20-goal-a-season striker isn't exactly cheap, especially when there's competition for those players. It's the kind of stress Rangers just don't need in the final weeks of the window. So unless a ridiculous offer comes in, Rangers would be foolish to even consider selling Desires. And even if that offer does come, the club would still have a tough decision to make.